right, y'all. We should be finally live. I apologize for the great delay. We had a lot of problems in getting to where we are now. But what matters is that we're here. And we should have a great morning out. Let's see if I can start off with this. Nope. Anyways, we're out here today. Got the Panasonic S5II. I promise you today was not necessarily my fault. For some reason, Verizon internet is being really nasty today. And this location should have the full 5 LG, whatever, maximum coverage, and it was not working out nicely today. So, while I had everything ready on my end this time, it was not working out for Verizon and yeah, their services. You can see this red-winged blackbird out in the distance. Turn back into burst mode, I turn that off. And you can see how this S5II is picking up with the autofocus right here. Nope. Yeah, so because of these internet problems I'm having, I'm gonna be extremely limited today in my range. I probably won't be able to go very far at all, which is unfortunate and a little sad, but you guys will have to bear with me. It'll be a little shorter than I was hoping today because of that, I think. We'll just keep it to like maybe an hour and a half live stream. Originally, I was hoping to do a 3-hour live stream and be able to bring you through a lot more of this park here, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen just because, yeah, I'm kind of limited to this 30-meter radius of internet connection, unfortunately. Let's just show off a little bit of the Panasonic S5II. So you can see even the head behind the twig and it's still locking on focus. This is not gonna be a great shot. Oh, the GoPro, let's see. Now you can see there, head was behind the leaf a second ago, but even amidst that, you could see that the S5II is able to hit that focus and recognize the subject. So it's pretty nice. So, gonna see if we can find anything unique. It's a lot of red-winged blackbirds right now. Good morning to you all that are joining me. I have you guys in my ears in the live chat. So there's a 20-30 second delay. So just being aware of that if you are live chatting in. It'll take me a second to get back to you guys on any comments or questions, but feel free to ask me any questions you have about the S5II specifically as well. This is your chance. I know a lot of you guys have probably seen the review that I've put up on it, or seen other things that I've made on the S5II, and this is your chance to kind of ask your questions about it if you have any. We've got a Canada goose out there in the distance. See if we can pick it out. There we go. Okay, another one closer to us. Let's pull this back burst. Oh, there it missed. On a fence though, nothing special. Oh, here we go over here. At least I can take this shot. Oh, there it missed again. I think that brown on the brown maybe wasn't giving it enough contrast in that situation. All right, let's start looking for a angle that I can get with these guys. I'm so bummed because we were trying to figure out this internet problem this morning, and because of that, I missed all the good lighting. There was some amazing lighting this morning. And if I would have been able to start on time, you guys would have seen some of that. Just had this beautiful 15 minutes of sunrise with fog scattering across all this, and some beautiful light being let down through it. And it was really, really cool and impressive. But unfortunately, we missed it all due to, yeah, the problems I was having. Let's see what that is down there. Got a Canada goose out there. You can see the autofocus is detecting even just the head sticking out right there. And it seems like it's able to lock on decently. Wait for him to turn his head. Oh, thanks for the feedback, Klaus. I forgot actually to check that with this camera. Let's see if I can change that quickly for you guys. Should be able to. I think I just forgot to change it back. Let's see, where is the setting again? HDMI connection. No. Maybe I can't. That's a bummer. I know there's got to be a way to do this. All right, let's see if you guys can really quick now see. Okay, so it looks like you guys can see it now, but the problem is that now I can't see it. So unfortunately, it's making me choose one or the other, which is really annoying. Huh. Okay, well, I guess I'll leave it for you guys, but be aware of the fact that now I cannot see it myself. So that may limit my ability to understand what's going on in these scenarios quite a bit. In regards to the firmware update, I haven't looked into that yet, so I'll have to take a look at that. I've been pretty busy and just traveling around these last couple weeks, so haven't gone much into the dark web yet, but that sounds interesting. I'd love to hear from you a little bit, Mike, about what you are looking at on it and what's looking good for you. Okay. So let's see. I feel this is tricky. Like I said, I'm very limited right now in my range. I can't really do much. What I do like is this backlight over here. Let's even try something like this. I don't know if that's going to be in focus or not. Let's check that. It's a little tricky. Not a great shot anyways. It's a little tricky in the sense that I have gear on my chest, so can't get down as I want, as easily as I want. Using Sigma lenses, or sorry, in EF lenses. I don't know why I said Sigma. You can use those, however, from what I've come to understand, is that you're going to get slower autofocus results specifically. Just like if you're adapting any type of lens mount from one type to another. So you can use it, but you should expect slower autofocus results. Duade Baton has a pretty good review showing, like, for example, the famous Sigma 150-600 contemporary EF mount, and he's mounting it onto an RF camera, and he shows in that what was I going to say? That yeah, it's pretty slow in its autofocus and all of that good stuff. So definitely something to be aware of if you do choose to go the EF mount route on a mirrorless camera. A lot of the hard part is a lot of those EF glasses, like lens glasses, are really good glass quality, but yeah, unfortunately you just get slower autofocus results. Yes, I have tried the newest Sigma 60 to 6. I put out a video on it, a review that you can check out on my channel if you're interested, this past January. So just look for my January releases and you'll see it. And then I even made a in the field, like, wildlife photography adventure as well with it. So you can see a couple of different options that I have talking about it and seeing how I liked it. Honestly, I almost bought it myself. The Sigma 150-600 is virtually identical to the Sigma 60-600. The two biggest things that I remember off the top of my head are just the image stabilization is ever so better on the 60-600. So that was a really nice feature that was awesome for me. And then the second biggest thing was that obviously you get that extra wide and focal reach. But I think the times that I use that 60 to 150 range are so slim that I just wouldn't have used it enough to justify spending $2,000 when I already own this lens right here. But in terms of image quality, autofocusing capabilities, all the other stuff, they're pretty much identical. Yeah. If I didn't already have this lens, I would have gotten that other lens, no doubt, over this lens. This one is a great one too, the 150-600 Sport. But that 60-600 is even better. Cool, so sounds like we've gotten 2 comments on being able to see what I'm shooting. So I'll switch that back. I'm gonna keep that on my end, that I can keep my info display and see what the autofocus is working with and all that stuff, and I'll just let you guys know what I'm seeing in the meantime. That sounds awesome, Mike. Yeah, I'll have to look into that more then, because yeah, like I said, I haven't looked into it yet, but it sounds like that might be a really good pairing with the 60-600 then. Lost it. Just trying to show you guys that Canada goose if it could track it for a little bit. All right, I gotta try to find a better angle because this is rough. It's my wife over there. She's running my remote setup for me. Huge shout out to her. She's all portable, and I prepared this whole thing portable, ready to go so we can just walk this whole strip, but then come to find out that this is we're so stuck and limited to this right now. Oh man, I missed that just barely. That rainbow, there's a little rainbow. I don't know if you can see that back there, but heard something. Oh, that guy popped out right in front of us. Okay, there's the guy again. Let's go for a high key. tire. I don't know if that'll be great in editing, but yeah, just trying to look for something just because it's so tricky right now with my limited movement. Okay, let's try to do this. I'm thinking, let's try to do some work with some of the flying red-winged blackbirds around. Dang it, that tree got in the way just the last second. That way you guys can hopefully see some of the autofocusing capabilities of it in flight. Yeah, back to that Sigma 60 to 600. It was already pretty good, so I'm excited to see the further firmware improvements on it that you guys are talking about in terms of its compatibility with the S5II, but it was already pretty dang good when I was using it the other day. And one of the better combos I've used. I felt like it was right about on par with the Sony A1 and 200 to 600 millimeter combo. There we go. That was a decent moment. Yep, good. I was on the right camera there. Oh, dang it. I had my settings set wrong there. That could have been a chance. All right. Yeah, I think this is what this day is going to turn into, guys, is a red-winged blackbird shootout day. Because I'm pretty limited in what I can be doing right now. Another nice shot would be doing something like a backlit. Okay, let's, oh, lost it. There we go. Yeah, by autofocusing capabilities, do you guys mean, can I comment on my own technical ability and skill, or do you guys mean the S5II's autofocusing capabilities? So, if you're talking about the S5II's autofocusing capabilities, it's pretty good. I would encourage you to check out my review. Depending on if we can make this interesting enough to be here long enough, with me stuck in one area, I might have an intermission or not. If I do have an intermission, I have it planned to show you guys that review if you haven't seen it before. Nope, wrong way. Right here. Just too cluttered. Nothing really good yet. That might be better. Nope. Was there for a second. Yeah, she's dancing around. A combo of the two, manually and autofocusing right now. Hope she hops back down. So like right now, I hop back into manual as I went wider. There she go. Okay, let's see, I need to turn up that shutter speed. Let's go, now let's get her jumping around again. This could be in for a nice one if I get her jumping one more time. That right side perch. Yeah, this is a combo of manual and auto right now. Okay, next one. Pop up, lady. Nope. This is a pretty cool moment. Let me check my shutter speed really quick. Sharp enough, I think. Yep, sharp enough. Just need a bit better of a shot. Is my gear heavy? Oh, did that work? Man, this Brewer's Blackbird is just having the time of its life with me. In regards to my gear weight, it's a little heavy. It's not the lightest I've used by any means, but it's also not the heaviest. So the Sigma 150 to 600 generally is kind of like an in-between, I'd say. It's not a tank, but it's not light either. The Panasonic S5II, however, is very light, so this camera is definitely not the problem there. Thank you guys. Glad you're enjoying these shots. Yeah, these are actually some pretty decent ones, so happy with this. Okay. Get back to my GoPro for a second. You guys have been a little high. She dove down in there. I would assume that that means there's probably actually, let's take a look at some of those together. I'm hoping that I got, man, like this one could have been really nice, but houses in the background, that was the hard part here. I wanted to get a little higher, but I was scared if I raised myself up, then it just would flush this bird away and the bird would get too scared. So, in regards to the 600 prime question, the L mount, which is what I'm currently in ownership of, doesn't have a 600 prime available natively, so I'd have to adapt it. But I've used some other primes. I've actually been using a prime for a different camera mount that I'll be releasing my next set of reviews on. This, like in a month or two from now. You'll see my first time with it out in the field next week. Oh, we just had a green heron behind us. It's flying way off though. Not landing. Yeah. Well, oh, second one. Let's see if we can get anything. Yeah, they're way off. Okay, back to the 600. So yeah, I have used some. Nope. It was a little too backlit there. Also, when I have an HDMI connection and it's transmitting through HDMI, the autofocus does slow down a little bit, I've noticed for sure. So the autofocus is definitely a little slower, just so you guys are aware. But yeah. In general, so what I was saying about primes is that in general though, I'm not a huge fan of using them because of the fact that I do video, and also because I like having the option of always zooming out. So I'm not, even though primes are better quality glass obviously, I don't know if I will ever invest a lot of money into a prime because of the fact that I always want to be able to zoom out when I like to. Like this shot right here, I could never get this if I had a prime on, obviously. Right now I am zoomed out at 150 millimeters, so as far as I can be zoomed out. And I'm kind of liking the results. It's not my favorite because I'm not a fan of having fences in shots, especially chain link fences. But it's kind of interesting. So yeah, your guys' screen is probably sideways, I just realized, so I'm sorry about that. Let's go into review here so that way you guys can see it properly right side up. These are some of the shots I was taking right here. Ones like this, you can see them calling way out the distance. Got the foreground flowers. I actually kind of like this one. It's not amazing, again, because like I said, I'm not a huge fan of chain link fences in it. But for having a chain link fence, it's actually a pretty dang good shot, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think, but. Great question. Well, I'll respond to this one. Let me know in the chat what you guys think in terms of, I'd be curious in terms of man-made objects, if you guys are completely against having them in images typically, if it's like very rarely you like them in images, or if you are very open to them being in images. Let me know. In regards to the question on the FPS though, good question there. Oh, need to turn it back to GoPro, sorry. In regards to FPS, so this one has 7 frames per second mechanical. And personally, I don't really feel too limited by it. It's very rare that, I've said this in my review that I made on it, but it's very rare that I find myself wanting more than like 10 frames per second. I've used cameras that do have a lot more, up to 30 frames per second with that Sony A1, where it's doing that kind of like hybrid shutter mode or whatever. I forget the name of it right now off the top of my head. But where it's pretty dang close to a mechanical shutter at 30 frames per second. And it, looks phenomenal. But the instances where I use that much of a burst rate is just so rare that to me it just makes for so much more work when I'm culling through my images. And so generally, even if I have the option, unless I'm really out there trying to capture a very specific action shot, I just cap out my camera if I can at 10 frames per second. So 7 frames per second is maybe slightly lower than I'd like, but not a huge enough deal to me. So my answer is no, I don't generally feel too limited by it. But I can also understand, depending on the type of shooter you are, if you may feel limited by it. So I would completely understand that as well. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna tilt your guys' screen sideways again. Oh, he just flew off. Darn it. Let's go back to here. That guy keeps coming to that perch though, so I bet I can get this shot if I'm looking for it correctly. But oh, there's the lady back again. Heard her. Got some planes flying overhead. Excuse the noise for a second, guys. Great comment, Klaus. I think that's well said. Open to it. I think that I'm not very open to it in all honesty, which is probably a weakness that I have. It's hard for me to recognize good compositions with man-made objects. Something I could probably definitely work on. But yeah, generally I don't like them a ton, but there are those, sometimes you get those shots that are just gorgeous with them. And so I think that's an awesome answer that you just gave. In regards to my settings right now, someone asked about me, what settings am I in right now in terms of my mode and choosing my settings. I'm in full manual right now, so I'm controlling everything. Controlling ISO, shutter speed, and aperture currently. Yeah. I have other videos explaining why I like to shoot manual, yeah, basically, long story short, I just want to make sure that I have that full creative control at any second that I want. And generally, it feels like a lot of people, you know, like the popular thing is to like shoot right now manual mode with auto ISO. But I find that for me personally, I feel like it's the same thing as shooting in manual in a lot of senses, because if you want to control your exposure in any sense and, you know, overexpose, underexpose, which you'll want to do in most of your shots, you have to use exposure compensation. And so to me, that feels very similar to just flicking my shutter speed around or adjusting my settings accordingly. There's that lady again. I don't know if you guys can see her on the GoPro. I think my GoPro keeps tilting back, so sorry about that, guys. How's my GoPro angle, Saray? Okay. Well, this female's really comfortable with me. Now, as I say that, she just flew off, but I have observed that she is comfortable with me, so that's cool. Hopefully I'll see her coming back around here. Got a train passing by, so sorry for the loud audio again. I don't know how well this mic can keep that noise out. Yeah, my Apple Watch says this is pretty dang loud, so I'm assuming you guys can hear it pretty well too. Sorry about that. Gonna see if there's any other good angles on this red-winged blackbird out on the fence, but I think I got my best one back there already. There's the female again. Yeah, I definitely might struggle with urban wildlife. Oh, come on. Yep. All right, where is this bird? There she is. Okay, I'm in manual focus. I'll try to talk you guys through this as I do it, because the bird's totally lost. Okay, there's the bird. Switch back to auto. Still in auto. Auto. Auto still. I lost the birds, so gonna be patient for a second. Down low. Comes the bird again. Oh, where is it? There it is. It's really dug it back to manual. Trying to get a tight up shot this time. There we go. Got one. I don't know. Composition's not great there. It's a little cluttered. That was shot in manual super quick. I adjusted that. Still in manual. And this is focus, of course. Manual focus and autofocus. Bird's down in the reeds. Be patient with it for a second. Okay, the bird's staying down there for a bit, seems like. So that was one of the shots I just landed. It's manually focused. Looks like I nailed it. It's good. It's okay. It's not great though. I do like the flowers on the right side. The twig it's on is pretty decent, but then all the stuff off to the left, just in the background, there's just too much clutter. I think it's gonna be hard to get a nice portrait shot here on these perches that this bird is landing on because of the fact that it's just too cluttered with these perches, at least in my opinion. So I'll probably just stick to that wider angle if I do shoot this bird here again. One of the trickiest things I have trouble deciding on is when I do zoom out, right? Because it's easy, like when you're trying to be fully zoomed in, get a super tight portrait shot, it's easy to just be like, yeah, get as tight as possible, right? But when you're pulling back out, I'm always like, ah, should I be at 150? Should I be at 200? Like even 300 millimeters, you know? Those are some hard decisions always I feel like to make. But I find myself most often, if I am doing a wider shot on a wildlife, trying to go around like 200 millimeters. I'd be curious what you guys like to use when you are doing wider wildlife photography shots. If you like that 200 millimeter range, or you like 300 millimeters, 150, or even wider, let me know in the comments or in the chat. I'd love to hear. Okay, let's see. So I'm lining up the possible shot. That bird keeps coming back right there. I wonder if I can get that sun under it well. I'll show you guys this in a second. Okay, let's see. But then I start getting a lot of that clutter, which I don't like. Might have to go for a tight angle here. Let's try something like this maybe. Then we'll go zoomed in. Yeah, if you have a prime and you're stuck at a certain length, not much you can do about that, huh? Okay, we're gonna try to do something a little different here. Next time the red-winged lands up on the top, we're gonna try to capture that. There it goes. Gonna tilt your screen to the side for a second. Didn't land at the top this time though. Also think I need to get a little closer up. Okay, this should be better next time. What was the question that was asked in the chat before I started doing this, Ray? I advanced that. Oh. Can you let me know that question in the chat that I didn't get to answer yet? I was distracted. I think I lost you. Autofocus settings on the S5II. So what I'm doing is I'm liking to, so this is a personal philosophy of mine, I guess. Okay, so this is set up. Sorry, switch you guys back to GoPro so you don't get sick. Looking at my camera wobble all over. Should be set up, so if we get the bird to come back, that might be an interesting shot. We'll see. Which the bird should. It's been back a lot, so. Autofocus settings. So I like to be shooting in subject detect, first of all. So it's on subject detect. Oh, I'm in manual, that's why I can't pull it up. Subject detect, usually what I'll do, so animal detection, usually what I'll do is be in full area. The reason why is because since you can just really easily manually focus and correct it, and I'm already, you know, if you guys follow me, you know that I've been shooting manual focus for so many years, like exclusively, and even now I still shoot lots of manual focus, if not most, like 90% probably, at least 75%. Recently I found myself shooting it less just because of the fact that I am testing out so much gear and wanting to put those autofocuses to the test. But with that being said, I do shoot mostly manual focus. So I just shoot full area, animal detect mode typically, because that way it can just pick it up in any scenario, and if it doesn't, I'll just very quickly correct with manual focus. Because of the fact that I find it takes just about as much time for me to zone in the area with my joystick as it does for me to just correct it with my manual focus. So what I'd rather do, rather than try to find the area with the joystick and then lock and then have it refocus according to the area, I'd rather just turn my manual focus ring and have it in less time, because I have gotten pretty good with manual focus. But if you aren't very good with manual focus yet, zoning, I would recommend doing different types of zone areas. Doing something like, let's say for example, like a zone vertical can be really helpful. I found that especially with like waterfowl, for example, where you know that you're kind of shooting in a certain depth of field, a vertical zone, like a line zone across the screen can be really helpful, or something like that. But yeah, that's a little bit how I shoot. So it's my way of doing it, but everyone has their own kind of way of doing it. I'm really glad this live streaming setup is working out right now. Because this morning I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is not going to work again. Because if you were here at the beginning of the live stream setup, you heard me talk about how we're late this morning because of that darn Verizon. Oop, there we go. Darn it. This bird is not coming down where I want. I'm going to show you guys this really quick. The sun's moving quicker than the bird. Oh. Oh man, that's where having pre-burst would have been so nice, because that taking off flying shot could have been really nice, but I just missed it. I don't know, not great. That's what it looks like. Oh, but this nicely. Let's see. If it turns correctly, could be interesting. Sorry, I'll get back to the question in a second. Nope, he just left. It's back up there. Let's see if I can get this shot. Okay, let's see. Oh, there he is. It's not liking it. The sun's risen a little too high now. I think I went for this idea a little too late because now I'm getting down into the bushes and there's getting clutter and all that stuff. Yeah. Unfortunately, I went for this idea too late, I think. It's just gonna get harder and harder to get that shot, so I think I've missed it. Okay, back to live stream question. I'm glad that I've been able to get this because, yeah, when I started out this morning, the Verizon internet was not working for whatever reason, but somehow my wife and I found a little patch, like, I kid you not, that's why she's in that exact area and that's why I'm stuck here and I can't adventure around right now, is because there's like this little tiny circle patch over there that the Wi-Fi's, or the remote Wi-Fi is working well. But if I move outside of that patch, then everything is lost. So yeah, that's why we're stuck to this little area right here. But in regards to my gear, give me 1 second. Isn't really a great shot, but if he turns my way, I'd like to get a little flare from him. He'll be back. Yeah, in regards to my gear, it's a little bit of a complex setup. I had to do, like, I could not find anything that exists like this out there. I had to kind of totally figure this out on my own and combine different pieces of knowledge of what I had discovered on how to do a remote live setup. But essentially, without getting to the specifics of how I'm connected up in the gear, there's essentially like a Wi-Fi, a remote Wi-Fi router that I have, which obviously allows my computer to be connected to Wi-Fi remotely out in the middle of nowhere. And then I have 2 transmission systems, one for audio that goes back to the laptop, a second one that connects my video transmission to a switcher, and the switcher connects up to my wildlife camera here and my GoPro that you guys are seeing here. So it's a couple of steps in the system, but essentially I just have to take these into a switcher, into a transmitter that transmits the video back, and then I have a separate transmitter for the audio, and then everything goes from the laptop out to you guys. Yeah, I've just totally lost that angle right there. It's not a pretty angle at all anymore. So. Let's see. All right. Again, we're kind of limited in this area, so sorry on that. Oh, we got a dog passing by. Oh, you're good. You're good. Hey, doggy. It's a pretty dog.
Thank you. Getting anything good out here?
Trying, working on it. Okay, so since we've lost that angle, the lighting's getting pretty harsh right now. What we might do is, let's see, what's the battery level on the laptop, love?
It's
checking if we need to plug that in. What is it? 40? Okay. Let's see if I can see. I don't think I can see on my GoPro while I'm connected, unfortunately. Yeah, I can't see the battery level on that. Transmitters are good. Let's switch my audio super quick. Can you hold this really quick? Uh-huh. Signal. Oh yeah, don't do that. You have to quit it, so go up to the top, quit it out. Okay. All right, we good? All right, can you guys hear me okay? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay. Oh, where's this guy? A little lesser goldfinch. Just to show you guys. It's on autofocus right here. It's not a good angle, it's too cluttered behind those trees. That red-winged blackbird is loud, man. It's crazy how these guys are. All right. Yeah, so since we've lost our good light already, I'm just gonna try to get some in-flight shots and show you guys anything I can get with that. So that's what we're gonna be working on right now. I think this would be the right angle coming from this front side. No. Red-winged blackbirds, I don't expect this to be easy by any means. I almost had that one. No. I think these guys might be a little too small to really get this. I'd need them a lot closer to try to get that. These guys in flight, I believe, but we will see. They're kind of flying far distances. I think a better scenario would be like on some marsh reeds with the red-winged blackbirds because they'll just kind of hop around a few of them. I'm also not really succeeding at tracking these guys right now. They're a little scattered in how they're flying. There you go, you can see a track in there. See that? There we go. That's showing a little bit of the S5II tracking abilities. Oh, am I on? Yep, I'm on, good. See if we can track it back. Oh, it's trying, it's trying. Oh, it lost it. Ah, That actually could have been an okay shot. I lost it there though. You saw it tracking it back, so it tracked one way successfully. It missed the other way though. We'll see when the next one dives out that way if we can track it back. Currently in autofocus continuous, animal subject detect, full area. That's what I'm currently doing. Just so you know my settings. Lesser goldfinch. So for you guys that are watching live, are any of you guys Micro Four Thirds shooters? If so, let me know in the comments. Got a little annas up here. Appreciate the comment, Garrett. So for those of you that are Micro Four Thirds, OM Systems sent me over their flagship camera, the OM1, and I've been playing with that for about 3 weeks now, and so I got some reviews coming up on that. If you have any questions that you'd like answered specifically for the review that I'm making on it, I'm filming my reviews on it next week. I've been using it for 3 weeks, going on my 4th week, taking it out a couple times, and so I'm writing my reviews currently on them. But if you have any questions that you want answered on what anything about the OM1 or OM systems in general, let me know as well in the chat. It suddenly died down. We had a pretty good first hour and a half of the live stream this morning, but it started to get more quiet, unfortunately. Come on. There we go. That was autofocus right there. Turns this way. Turn his back. Sounds good, Klaus. Yeah, I'll mention in my review for sure about the autofocus and see if I can fit in talking about the Pro Capture as well. Yeah, that's a great question, Hammerstrom. I'll give you a sneak peek. That's definitely been my hardest critique on it too. I will show you more detailed examples of all of that though in the review. in regards to the lens that I used with the OM Systems camera, OM Systems sent me over two. They sent me over both the 300 f4 and the 125 to 400 with the 1.25 teleconverter on it. So I've gotten to test out, I've been very privileged to test out both. One thing I can say about OM Systems is they seem to be a really awesome company from my experience with them. But especially since getting this review set up, good job. Yeah, in terms of how they communicate with me, like being there for me to get, you know, whatever I need in my hand, like a fair review on it. So as a company, I've really liked how they work and how they communicate. But yeah, they sent over both the two lenses. They tried out both of their best two lenses, and yeah. Definitely unlucky, Klaus. Yeah, I didn't, when they asked me initially about setting up, sending over their gear, they asked me what lens I wanted to try out with it. And I told them I'd like to try out either the 300mm f4 or the 125 400 1.25. And because those are their best two, and I just, you know, figured either of those two I'd be happy to try. And they sent me over both, and I was like, oh, okay, that's awesome. So it's been hard choosing which one I'm testing out at which time, because there's pros and cons to both. And my very quick, so I'll give you a sneak peek and my hot take on it. I was incredibly surprised, but as a, how do I say this? I was mentioning earlier, I don't like using prime lenses, and that is true. I don't, because I don't like the inability to zoom out. But the 300mm f4 prime for OM Systems, that Olympus Pro lens, is wow. That is a cool lens. I really enjoyed that lens. Possibly my favorite prime lens I've ever gotten to use in the telephoto range. An amazing lens. And surprisingly, I enjoyed using it a lot more than the 125 to 400. Even though technically the 125 to 400 is a more sound lens and really impressive in so many ways. I mean, if you think about the fact that you get essentially a 1000mm full frame equivalent on it, at 5.6 f-stop is just incredible. Oh, female just hopped back out of there. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that there's got to be a nest down in there. Or something, because that female was just hanging around that spot like crazy. Give it some distance. But yeah, like I was saying, that lens is, I mean, it's pretty insane. But yeah, I just found myself really liking that 300mm f4 for a couple different reasons. So I'll get way more into detail that when I make my reviews. But yeah, that's my very quick take on it. But I hope you guys check out more when I release the reviews. Okay. Yeah, it's been dying down quite a bit. Sounds like a fun buy on the macro. I haven't gotten to use that. let's see if I can try this autofocus continuous with the birds in flight again. I'm gonna move back to my other spot. Let me know in the chat, guys. So like I said, I was planning on having a wider range of what I was going to be able to do this morning in terms of, you know, being able to search around more, work with different subjects, all of that good stuff. So I was planning on all that, and I apologize again that I just was unable to do that due to the internet connection. So I'm kind of just stuck here. I'd be more than happy to spend another hour and a half with you guys. If so, I might take an intermission really briefly. But otherwise, if you guys are feeling like you got your fair share of understanding the S5II and hanging out with me today, then I'll probably just cut it off in about 10 minutes here because, I'll have to switch out the batteries in about 10 minutes on my whole wireless system. So we can have a little 10-minute intermission and then come back to it, or we can just end it here. So let me know in the chat what you guys are thinking. Let me know if you want another hour and a half out with me, or if you'd rather just call it here since we're just limited to really this red-winged blackbird subjects. Yeah, unfortunately there's just nothing else I can work with right now with the area that the Wi-Fi is limited to. So. Herons pass overhead, but got the train coming by again. Sorry for the loud noise. I really want to get some more autofocus continuous examples for you guys with the blackbirds, but instead, let me show you the train. It's actually a good example for showing rolling shutter. All right, well, I think we'll call it here. In about 5 minutes. Last question, any comments? Thanks for joining me, you guys. Thanks to the channel members specifically for joining as well. Appreciate it. And supporting this channel and allowing me to do things like this. Every time I go live, it's actually a pretty heavy cost. Obviously, the gear, investing in all the gear at first costed quite a bit, but even literally just every time I go live, just for the internet, I have to pay $60. It's kind of ridiculous, but but I enjoy it and I like getting to be out with you guys. So, so yeah, I really appreciate you channel members for supporting the channel and supporting what I get to do. You can become a channel member if you aren't already on the channel by heading to my channel page and just hitting the join button. You can join for just $2 a month to support me, or you can join for $6 a month and you'll get access to some stuff, or even a $15 a month tier. But yeah, you guys can check out all the stuff there for yourself. And yeah, just thank you guys for supporting. Any last questions about the S5II? Now's your time to ask them before we end this all out. or any questions about wildlife photography in general. See if when this bird goes. So currently in continuous. We just walked, tracked it. That's pretty simple. Holding down continuous to see if we can get him jumping at any moment. Doesn't look like he's gonna jump though. This guy's been singing on this fence just for minutes straight, so could be waiting a long time there. Let's see. As the day goes on, typically these guys become less active in terms of flying around. So hopefully I can get one good in-flight shot before the end of the day, but chances are a little slim. I think I've lost you, Saray. Yeah, I've lost you for whatever reason. Let's try recalling. Yes. Sorry, I don't know why I'm not hearing you. You guys are chatting in. Give me 1 second. Oh, it's too late on that. See if I can track this guy up here. On continuous, so we'll see if he flies out. See if this thing can follow. Sorry, trying to get my chat worked out my ears. Oh, of course, there we go. Okay, you saw that. Show you guys this really quick, and then I'm gonna head over and see what's in the chat, because for some reason it's stopped my ears right now. Apologize on that for you guys. So those look all sharp there, so you can see like this was all bird in flight. Each one of these seems tack sharp. It's slightly moving away from me at the time, so the autofocus is having to continually refocus, but it did a good job. So, looked good. Oh, I just realized you guys weren't seeing that. I'm so sorry. Yes. So you guys can see this was what I just captured. This was autofocus continuous. Birds flying away from me slightly. You can see that all these shots are in focus. This goes by. Autofocus continuous, having to readjust constantly because birds flying away from me slightly, so did a pretty good job. Sorry, I thought I had you guys on my camera and I realized I didn't, so you guys didn't get to see the action of it either. See if we can get this one jumping. Let's see about that. Lost it when it started going behind that bush. It had the first 4. So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take a look at the chat because for some reason it stopped in my ears. All right. Thanks you guys for joining me. Thanks Klaus, thanks Steven, thanks Hammerstrom. Thanks Silverwing for being here. Regarding MFT, it would be great to see an updated Panasonic G9 with the new AF. Much better ISO performance than the GH6. Combined with pre-burst, it could be a great camera. I agree. Yeah, the G9 has so much potential. It's mostly that autofocus holding it back. Otherwise, honestly, I mean, the low light performance is like, if you were here earlier when we were talking about OM systems, yeah, I mean, the low light on it is like on par with the OM1, which again, disclaimer, is not good compared to full frame. But for MFT, it's like it's about as good as it gets. So yeah, the G9 has a lot of potential. It's just mostly that autofocus. I haven't used it. I have updated the firmware on it to the new autofocus, but I haven't used it for wildlife photography, the G9. So that might be worth doing, and I might do that and see if that's worth doing with you guys and doing another review on that. So I'll see about that and see if I can set up something like that in the coming months for you guys. It may be a few months, but yeah. Nice having you on here, Lance. I think we're about to be finished, but if you have any quick questions, Lance, about the S5II that you'd like to see answered before we're all done here, feel free to send in the chat super quick. Got the little Hummer up here. Oh, took off a right when I said that. There he is over there. Nope, took off again. All right, you guys. Well, it's been good getting to adventure out with you. If you want to see my official review that I made on the Panasonic S5II, check out that review on my channel. I have one where I go into a lot more detail and yeah, get a lot. You can get a really good perspective of my holistic kind of review of it. And I guess my summary of it, you'll get to see in a lot of detail all the things like the low light, the phenomenal low light capabilities of this camera. Best low light camera I've ever gotten to use personally. Has some great autofocus as well that you'll get to see in there. Not the very best, but very close to the very best autofocus I've ever used. And you'll get to see all that. And get to share in like a live experience, very detailed, or show good examples of like this. So I'd encourage you to go check those out and or check out that video, and yeah, I'll see you around with all that. I'm going to try one last thing before we go. I'm going to see this guy. I just noticed that this guy's been taking this path all day long, and if he decides to fly this way, we could actually get some good examples of in-flight shots. Let's see if we can make this happen super quick before we exit. Make sure you guys, yep. I hope he's thinking about it. He was thinking about flying. He's gonna come my way though. Oh, he went the other way. Very well from this direction. let go at that very moment. Dirty dog. Of course. Of course. Well, yeah, we'll call it there. All right, you guys, it's been good having you. Is there any last chats I need to be aware of, Sarai? Okay. Been nice hanging out with you guys. I will see you around.